Next, I'll bring Carey-Lee Dixon. She is the founder of Woman to Woman from Jamaica. Welcome, Carey.
In 2015, I was in a job I was great at. I enjoyed it. But there were two things missing. I wasn't passionate, and I wasn't growing. My coworkers and colleagues told me how great I was. I brought something valuable to the table. And while I believed them, I knew there was more. I wasn't living at my highest potential. As running a women-focused platform designed to empower women to grow in their personal and professional lives, women who want to continue to grow. But I wasn't challenging myself. I was cruising. You know, I was operating in safe mode. Then, out of nowhere, like a ton of bricks, life hit me. I was calling in sick to work almost at the drop of a pin, even when I wasn't. I was showing up to work late almost every day. For 1 month, I reached work late for over 20 hours. I had the worst report card in an office of 10. This was a new experience for me. I didn't know what was happening, but I knew this was not me. Then I realized I was stuck, not only physically, but mentally. I remember when I left university, I got my foot in the geospatial industry through an unpaid internship. I grew from one temporary job to another. I saw myself growing in the organization, but the dynamics were changing. But I wasn't moving. My coworkers and colleagues were growing in their careers, but yet I wasn't moving. Instead, I was complaining about all the things I wanted to do, but I wasn't doing anything. So I was complaining to my friends, my family, and of course, they got sick and tired of me. And quite honestly, I got sick and tired of my own self. And so like every year, I become very reflective when it's close to my birthday, and I started to question myself. Why do I feel stuck? What can I do differently? And so I decided to change something. So I embarked on a journey to self-discovery. Because for one, I wasn't quite sure what my passion was. I didn't know my purpose, but I knew I wanted to live a fulfilling life. So I became very introspective. I asked myself questions like, what fulfills you? How can you operate at your highest potential? You see, I've always told myself I'm the behind-the-scenes kind of girl. And while it's true, it's also an excuse for me to live safe. So, after I finished my first self-discovery journey, which was an ongoing process, I decided to host my first in-person event. That feeling was such a freeing moment for me. I remember I walked in the room and I met all the ladies. And while I had jots of nervousness and fear, I reminded myself that everything I had in me was already there. I just needed more self-belief and action. Are you going through the motions of life? Do you know what you're passionate about? Or are you living a life safe that is desired by your family or your friends? As an only child, I'm often protected by my mother. She'd always say, Tiffany, are you sure you want to do that? Or she'd say, well, it's your choice. If you want to do it, you can do it. But I realized, although my mother's actions were so assuring, I also realized I never moved on my own. I waited for her validation, her permission to act. And so I would always wait on her permission before I made a big decision. So in 2015, when I decided to leave my job, I didn't tell my mother. She was upset with me because, of course, she's used to me going to her first to make any big decision. And so I left that job because I didn't want to wait on her permission to do what I wanted to do. Last year, I felt what it feels like to operate at my highest potential. I stepped out of my comfort zone. The once behind-the-scenes girl hosted her largest event in Jamaica, where I brought together like-minded and influential women. Stepping outside of my comfort zone made me realize that I had the strength and the courage to live, to thrive, and to be the best version of myself. Are you okay with sleepwalking through life? Do you know what you're really passionate about? Today, I challenge you to rediscover yourself. Tap into your power. Unmask that part of your life and let it soar. Thank you.